through our ceremonies and our rituals, we have witnessed firsthand the awesome and vibratory power of color. We experience it as alive, and we believe that this saturated energy is the basis of all creation.
This is not an occult science. This is not one of those crazy systems of divination and astrology. That stuff's hooey, and you got to have a screw loose to go in for that sort of thing. Our beliefs are fairly commonplace and simple to understand. Humankind is simply materialized color operating on the 49th vibration. You would make that conclusion walking down the street or going to the store.
TBTL.
Love it or hate it, it appears to be another irreversible step along mankind's journey toward God only knows what.
Hey, I've learned a lesson here, but I hope you all have too, about the vitality of shared experience. We will all remember this moment for the rest of our lives. It was dramatic, it was visual.
It was stupid.
It was stupid, but it was also theater.
This is the real thing. This is the necessary art of our time. This needs respect.
Okay, are we done with the business part? I wanted to start the clown portion of the meeting.
Well, all right. Hello, good morning, and welcome, everyone, to a Tuesday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
There ain't nothing like soup.
My name is Luke Burbank. I am your host.
You paint your bald spot?
What bald spot?
Coming to you from the Madrona Hills studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia.
We've got the fog.
Sort of a mixed bag of fog and clouds, but no rain yet, so that's a positive. Here, as we've arrived at episode 4595 in a collector series.
Let the fun begin.
And we've got something real special for you on this Tuesday.
Oh my God, I'm freaking out!
Well, first of all, we don't have an Andrew Walsh. He is still out of town. He'll be back tomorrow. Looking forward to that. But in his stead is, I would say, a pretty good fill-in, and that would be Jeff Hiller, the star, one of the stars of Somebody Somewhere, and also the author of the book Actress of a Certain Age, the memoir Actress of a Certain Age. And really, I think one of the sort of breakout comedic performers of the last few years. He will be our special guest on the show today, so that is kind of a cool thing. What happened was Jeff was in town to be on Livewire. And but that was at night, and it was daytime, and I thought, we have a Jeff Hiller loose in Portland, and we cannot not take advantage of that. So I slid into his DMs. I'd actually been in his DMs, so I guess I just slid in the DMs and asked if he would consider being on TBTL, and he was nice enough to say yes. And so we were able to have a chat, and it was really fun. It was very casual. It was in the restaurant there at the Heathman Hotel. By the way, shout out to the folks at the Heathman Hotel, okay, in Portland, Oregon. Not just the place where the 50 Shades of Grey people have all kinds of wild times together. I believe that, I don't know if it's the book or the movie or both of them. I think it's set there at the Heathman. I'm not allowed to watch or read any of that yet until I'm 50. Then I'm allowed. I just realized maybe that's what they mean. You have to be 50 before you can read that book or watch the movie. But anyway, that's all at the Heathman Hotel. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about how nice they were to me at the Heathman Hotel for this recording. I showed up there with like a S.G. Goodman tote bag. S.G. Goodman, by the way, is a fine musician out of, I believe, Kentucky. But I had an S.G. Goodman tote bag with like a couple of microphones and all my little gear in it. And let's just be honest, I didn't look like the height of professionalism? I don't think professionality is a word. And I went up to the front desk at the Heathman and I said, "Hi, I'm a radio host and I'm doing an interview with someone here at your hotel. And could I use a conference room? Because I thought it might be a little forward to ask Jeff Hiller, who I'd never met in real life before, if we could have a casual recorded conversation, but if it could be in his hotel room." That seemed like a lot. So I was trying to find a safe space where we could have this convo. And They were very nice at the front desk, but after checking around, they basically said all of the conference rooms are booked right now. There's people everywhere, but maybe the restaurant can help you. I was thinking that doesn't sound like a very hospitable place to have a podcast recording, but I went over there to the restaurant of the Heathman Hotel, and I asked. I'll also mention this. The guy was a server who I first approached, and he's running around, hustling. He's got tables. He's got customers to take care of. And he's sprinting around, running around. And I said, hey, I need to do a radio interview here. And like that was all I had said. I need to do a radio interview here. And he said, oh, yeah, actually a perfect place for that would be way in the back. We've got this little kind of back area that we're not seating anyone. It's kind of cozy. I said, oh, that'd be incredible. He said, yeah, just go ahead and take that over. This also tells you, I guess, how common this kind of stuff is, whether it's radio. You probably know I meant podcasts, let's be honest. We are men of honor. Lies do not become us. This shows you how typical podcast recordings are in the world. You could walk up to a harried server at a restaurant and say, I need to do a podcast. They go back to the podcasting room for that. So I go back there. I'm nervously setting up my stuff because Emmy winner Jeff Hiller is on his way down to meet me. And I already realized this is not going to look super professional. It's like my laptop. It's a couple of microphones. The microphones don't even match. Like I have one kind of microphone. He's got another kind of microphone. And then I realized the Muzak was playing kind of loudly. And so I went back to this kind-hearted, incredible server at the Heathman Hotel who was already letting me set up shop in the restaurant. And I said, is there any chance you could turn the Muzak down just in the room that we're in, just in the area that I'm going to be in? And he said, I think I could do that. Let me see. And then I'm back there and I'm setting up my little stuff still and I'm hearing the music and I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do because I can't ask Jeff Hiller if we can go in his room. I mean, I could, but it would be inappropriate. All the conference rooms are full. This music is going to make this possibly unusable. And then all of a sudden, just like magic, the Muzak went away. And we were able to do this interview at the Heathman Hotel. So shout out to the fine folks there for being very accommodating and nice. Shout out also to Jeff Hiller. If you don't know who Jeff Hiller is, where you've been, maybe you haven't been listening to much TBTL, because we have been, at least I have been, obsessed with the TV show Somebody Somewhere. It's an HBO show. It's not TV, folks. It's HBO. Although, as I think about it, they always told us it's not TV, it's HBO, but then they stopped being HBO for a while and tried to be Max. Does that mean we can start calling it TV? If none of us are sticking with whatever our names were supposed to be or not be? Anyway, the show Somebody Somewhere stars Bridget Everett, the fabulous cabaret performer from New York and other places, as this character named Sam, who is back in Manhattan, Kansas, where she grew up, because her sister has died quite unexpectedly, and she's there to kind of, I don't know, try to deal with this grief and I guess help her family out a little bit. Her parents are both getting older and are going through problems, and she's got a sister that is alive that she's not very close to, and she's just in that moment that people find themselves in adulthood, where your grown-up life does not look exactly the way you thought your grown-up life was going to look. And I think this happens for all of us to one degree or another. You know, when you're a kid, you think about, I don't know, you just have your hopes and dreams, and you think everybody thinks they're going to be a professional athlete or a famous rock and roll singer or famous writer or something. Maybe it doesn't all revolve around fame. Maybe that was just my particular hang-up. But, like, people find themselves in that moment where their grown-up life does not look like the way they thought their grown-up life was going to look. And Sam's character is in that moment, back in Manhattan, Kansas, just trying to kind of figure it out. And she bumps into this guy named Joel, who's never left the town and who was in show choir with her back when they were in high school, back when she was kind of the star of the show choir, because she's like a phenomenal singer. But she made a really big impression on him. He did not make as big of an impression on her. She's kind of, at first, like, kind of doesn't even know who he is, doesn't remember him, but they become friends, and then they become really good friends, and then they become kind of each other's people. And this is something that I think is so amazing about this show, Somebody Somewhere. And I, not to name drop, but I know that this isn't just speculation for me, because I've actually talked to Bridget Everett about this at length. But she wanted to make a show that demonstrated a kind of important primary relationship in life with someone that is not necessarily romantic. Basically, she wanted to put forward the idea that sometimes your person can be someone you're friends with. I mean, your person, it can look like a lot of different things. If this was a different kind of show that was in less capable hands, the takeaway would have been Sam's just got to find love and that'll fix all her problems. This is not that show. This is a show about how you can find a person that you really need in all kinds of different ways and in all kinds of different forms. And that's one of the things that is just like so beautiful about it. So Joel and Sam become friends. I thought I would just play this little clip. Now listen, if you know the show, Somebody Somewhere, you've probably, you've seen this, watched it, listened to it, whatever. If you haven't, though, this is maybe new to you, and I figure if you are familiar with this, you won't mind hearing it again. This is just Joel. This is a sampling of their relationship. This is Joel and Sam just having a chat on Somebody Somewhere.
Shit, this is getting real, huh?
It really is. What's your dream wedding?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I don't know.
Okay, I'll go first. I think it'll be in a church, of course. And it would be this cute little church that I grew up in. And it's very tiny and sort of like surrounded by fields. And so it would be intimate and just close family and friends. And I would wear something really cute, just festive. But not like white or bridal because you gotta keep them guessing.
You gotta keep them guessing.
And I would walk down the aisle to the song Gloria by Laura Branigan. And of course, in my childhood, I dreamed that I would fly her in to sing it. But now, I have you.
Oh, Joel, you can't touch Branigan.
You can touch Branigan.
No Barbara, no Judy, no Branigan.
Come on.
Gloria, Gloria, I think they've got your number. Gloria, I think they've got the alias. Gloria, that you've been living under, but you really don't remember. Was it something that they said? All the voices in your head calling Gloria. Shake 'em, Gloria, Gloria, I think I got your number. Gloria.
So what about you?
Oh.
I spent so much time trying to figure out where to cut that clip, like where in Bridget Everett's singing of that Laura Branigan song I should duck out of the tape, and I couldn't find a place because it's so joyful and I love it so much and I love them and their relationship. It's just a phenomenal show that I cannot recommend highly enough, and I will stop going on and on about it because now I will go on and on for a moment about Jeff Hiller's memoir, which is called Actress of a Certain Age. And it's basically about his early life in Texas and then his 20s, 30s, and 40s trying to kind of make it in the world of entertainment and really not having a lot of success. Now, he was making his way onto certain shows. You'd see him quickly as the flight attendant on Will and Grace or something. He was on 30 Rock for like a scene. He was on a lot of shows for like one scene, which is cool, except that pays you for one day of work. That's not, unless you're somehow stacking up one-day scenes all year long, you can't really make a living doing that. You don't get health care. It's this kind of sort of liminal state of being in the entertainment business, which is where he was for many, many years. And at times even sort of toyed lightly with the idea of maybe getting into like going to grad school or doing something else. But then when he was in his mid-40s, he got this email from Bridget Everett saying, hey, we're going to shoot this pilot, and it's for this TV show. It doesn't really pay anything, the pilot, but I was wondering if you would read for it. And he did, and he got the role of Joel. And then the show got 3 seasons, and I guess it's weird. I bet you this is how you feel as a TBTL listener. I bet you feel like, well, actually, I don't know. We spend a lot of time telling you that nobody listens to TBTL, so maybe you're well aware of it. But like, there's this phenomenon that happens, I think, when you like something a lot that is a very niche product, that one can tend to overestimate the general awareness of it. And I think that's kind of my relationship with the show Somebody Somewhere, because I just think, oh, everyone knows about this show. It's so good. But I think it's actually kind of a pretty niche product. And so it was kind of remarkable when Jeff Hiller was nominated for an Emmy. And by the way, the good kind of Emmy. Like the real one, like a primetime Emmy, not the one that I got like behind me, these daytime Emmys, which are like, honestly, I don't even know what I could get for scrap for those things. But he gets nominated for an Emmy, from this little show that not that many people are watching, I guess, and then wins against like a bunch of incredible comedic actors. And also, for some reason, I think Harrison Ford was nominated. Totally insane. But he ends up winning the Emmy, and he gives this really beautiful, really funny speech. Take a listen to this.
Okay, and the Emmy goes to Jeff Hiller, Somebody Somewhere.
By the way, I absolutely love the walk-up music.
First Emmy win and nomination for Jeff Hiller.
Because this is the music from the show, which is what they do, but it sounds like a cartoon elephant walking to the stage.
I feel like I'm going to cry because for the past 25 years I've been like, world, I want to be an actor, and the world's like, maybe computers. And I just want to say, thank you to HBO for putting a show about sweaty middle-aged people on the same network as the sexy teens of Euphoria. Thank you to the Duplass brothers and Carolyn Strauss and Hannah Boz and Paul Thureen, who wrote a show about connecting and love in this time when compassion is seen as a weakness. And thank you to my sweet husband and my family for never laughing at me. And most of all, thank you, Bridget Everett. You changed my life, and you told so many people to believe in themselves, and they do. Thank you.
So that's Jeff Hiller winning his Emmy, and that's about all you need to know about this person we're about to hear from. So without further ado, Jeff Hiller, welcome to TBTL.
Thank you.
So you and I were texting, trying to set this up. We're in the way back of the restaurant at the Heathman Hotel in Portland.
I know, but there must be like some, I mean, you can hear the hash that's being slung.
I know, but I think kind of in a fun way.
Yeah.
Don't you think? This is like,
Exactly.
Look out, Ira Glass. You're not the only one with an omnidirectional microphone and a dream. We were trying to set this up, and you said, okay, but first I've got to go on my jog. And
Right.
I'm just wondering, like, you're a pretty tall individual.
Yeah.
Pretty recognizable now. Emmy winner. When you
Yeah.
jog around Portland, you're getting attention? Are people...
Not a single soul recognized me. Maybe that was just because they're respectful, or maybe they just didn't know who I was.
Is that the kind of thing now for you where it's still kind of fun when people know who you are, or are you at the point now where like you'd much rather just be able to go about your life in peace, generally speaking?
No, I am completely able to go about my life in peace, generally speaking. And I like it when people recognize me. I think it's because it's not like people are coming up and being like, say you talking to me, they're like,
Right. You don't have a catchphrase.
Exactly. They're just like, I love the show, you seem nice, that kind of a thing. So it feels great.
The thing is about ever admitting that maybe someone's recognizing you is that you then open up the possibility that they're totally not.
Right.
And you are going to look so conceited.
It's so awful.
It's just that for, and I'll never get to the Jeff Hiller heights, but even in my little micro celebrity, it keeps me from ever, somebody could be, I don't know, crawling into my lap telling me that they like love the show, and I would still, it would kill me to admit that they were aware of me, because again, the chance of saying or thinking that they know who I am when they don't, I would die from that.
And lately, several people have asked me, are you who I think you are? And I'm like, I'm not falling for that trick.
That's a loaded question.
Exactly. I don't know who you think I am. What if you think I'm Chris Colfer? I don't know.
We have a rule on this show, this podcast, to the listeners that if they see us in public, they have to identify themselves. And the reason is A, because my fragile ego needs it, and B, because I am often acting wildly inappropriate. And if I know that someone there is aware of me from my job stuff, I will act a lot better. What I don't ever want to be is observed in the world.
Without knowing you're being observed.
Exactly.
Yeah. That I do fear, because I do feel like people don't necessarily come up and say stuff to me, but they still clock you every once in a while. And that part, I am like, oh, God, what if I'm picking my nose or
right.
my wedgie? Or I'm not worried about, like, getting drunk and going crazy. I'm more worried about, like, I'm gonna fart. Who's gonna hear?
You're not a person who seems like you've ever had a thing with drinking, right? You write in the book it was more cookies.
Yes, exactly. That's really my issue. Yeah. Well, because I mean, I do drink, but like I don't drink like Joel on Somebody Somewhere drinks. He drinks a lot more than I do.
More teenies.
Yeah, like I can't
for
do
him
hard
than you.
liquor. Like I did hard liquor last night, and my watch was like, "What have you done? Your stats are all off.
Your
Your
fitness
vitals
watch.
are wrong." Yeah, exactly.
Your Aura ring was not liking it.
It's like, girl, calm down. And it's true. As I was drinking last night, I was like, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm already drunk." But I did an improv show at this really fun place in Portland called Kickstand Comedy.
Oh yeah, they're great.
And then they were very kind, and they bought me a drink after, and it was just a lot.
Yeah, they're big on that. I helped them out with a thing this summer at a park where like 5,000 people came out to the comedy show.
Yes.
And I'm not a stand-up comedian by training.
Yeah, I was supposed to do that. Because that was when I was originally doing Kickstand or Livewire.
Yeah.
I was going to do that too, but I didn't.
I had to fill in for you at the last minute.
Did you?
It
Were you
didn't
my
go
fill?
well. No, what I realized was like stand-up comedy. I know you're talking about improv last night, but like I stand in front of crowds and I say my little stuff, but to really be a stand-up comic who can kind of like control the room and like it is such a skill and an art that you really develop over time that just me wandering out there going like, hey, it's Luke from Livewire it was not cutting it. But the point is afterwards they all want to do shot. They want to do a big shot to celebrate the end of the season, but I had to drive home, so I had to politely decline. But they sound like a pretty rowdy bunch.
Yeah,
for getting you all.
They were really nice. One of them, her name was Mariah, and I said, "Oh, like the singer?" And she goes, "Yeah, I was named after her." And I was like, "What?"
Whoa.
And then she was like 30. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Would you put that MTV Cribs with Mariah up there in the pantheon of maybe greatest and are you familiar with?
Yes, I am. I mean, I'm more familiar with like that New Year's Eve special or the like. I don't know her. But I do remember the Cribs, and I was into it.
I think maybe for us straights, that was the first view into the truly, let's just say, unique mind of Mariah Carey, because, you know, I liked the songs that I had heard and stuff. I wasn't clocking her super closely, and then I see that she's like in a bathtub holding a folder full of fan mail while MTV there is filming it. I was like, all right.
She's living her life.
She absolutely is. I mean, good for her. God, the amount of money she must be making off of that All I Want for Christmas song.
Oh, I know. And every year.
I'm not tired of it yet. Are you?
Me neither. It's so good. It's so good. I love it.
It really sort of ushers in the season for me. But I'm very...
That one and the Darlene Love one.
Oh, yeah. Christmas.
Yes. Lights falling
That's
down.
my impression of Phil Spector's Wall of Sound. Did it work?
Yeah. I was blown away.
Yeah, you were.
It was like I was at a Beatles concert.
It was like a wall of sound came after you. It did. Some of the, I mean, there was so much in the book. By the way, the book is called Actress of a Certain Age, but I loved it so much. But the stuff about you growing up really Christian resonated with me because I also grew up very, very Christian.
In Seattle.
Well, in Northern California on a religious commune for a while, and then in Seattle.
What was the religion?
It was evangelical. So what it was like, it sounds like you went to a fairly progressive kind of Lutheran situation,
right.
But every time you ended up in the wrong place, like the wrong summer camp, or the place that you were staying, the commune as you call it, was a little more skewing towards speaking in tongues.
Yes, exactly.
My life was all that stuff.
Wow.
Like I always used to joke that it wasn't because my dad was the pastor of the church, and my like sort of joke / the real thing is it was like. It wasn't that they were against taking up serpents. They just didn't know where to get any serpents. But you talk about like speaking in tongues in the book. That must have blown your mind.
It did. It did. And also just like how people would say like we have to accept Christ into our heart and stuff. And like, you know, Protestants don't do that. So it was very much like I was a little bit afraid of it, but I also was like, I love to join. I love to join anything. I will join a cult. Like I would join a cult, so I have to be careful.
Yeah, you were talking about being a little left out of the, what was it, Nexium?
Yes,
cult.
I did not get asked to join the Nexium cult, which whatever, it's fine. But Yeah, I do feel like when I was there, I wanted to be a part of it. You know, I mean, I didn't ever like speak in tongues. I never like figured out how to do that or whatever. But I was so like, oh, this is some beautiful spiritual thing that you're doing, and I want you to have this moment, and I want to support you. But it was a little weird.
We had a thing, me and my sisters, I'm the oldest of 7 kids. We would do impressions of how people would speak in tongues in the church at Gospel Outreach Christian Fellowship, because it turns out it's actually very hard to create a truly unique and non-repetitive,
Yes, exactly.
like made up sound.
Yes.
So it like, you know, so it'd be like Sheedia Kodia, Sheedia Kodia, Sheedia Kodia, be like Tim Nabokowski. Yeah.
That's so funny that you did impressions of people's spirits speaking in tongues.
Because everyone just had their go-to.
Right.
And we were just kids just like listening endlessly every Sunday for hours and hours. So our church was really like into some pretty, again, both hardcore and I would say questionable theology. But like our church was hung up on this idea that in the Bible it somehow says that like the speaking in tongues is a language between the person doing it and God, and no one is supposed to interpret it. So sometimes somebody would get up, there'd be like a breakdown, like after worship, just kind of like a long noodling. Do they do that at the Lutheran church?
Yes, they do that. Not speaking in tongues.
No,
yes, they'll have like a
kind of a.
It's almost like a fellowship hour, or like a, you know, you're just like hanging out and as you leave the church.
Oh no, this is like the worship service. We've ended the part of this worship service where the formal songs have been played and we're singing, but now the music's still going, and now everyone's just kind of vibing. We haven't gotten to the sermon yet. And it's like,
I don't think
and
we
then
did
people
do
just
that.
are kind of sing-songing, and it's like the band just kind of like going over musically, just like a repetitive, extended jam of whatever the song was, and it'd be like, Lord, we just. By the way, you really zeroed in on something else in the book about the overuse of the word "just."
They always use it.
Dear Lord Jesus, we just come before you right now, Lord Jesus, and we just ask you, Lord, that you would just, Lord, you would bind on earth what is bound in heaven, Lord, and you would loose on, like, just is, it's this weird verbal crutch
It is.
that evangelicals really use.
And Jesus too, like is a
Yeah.
real, like a mantra. Yeah.
Yeah, or different ways to address Jesus, Lord and Heavenly Father, or Jesus, or like there's somebody has out a thesaurus, other things you could call Jesus. All in all, though, it seems like you have a pretty good, even though it sounds like you're not really practicing, like you don't go to church every day or anything, but it sounds like you were not particularly traumatized by the experience of being in church a lot. Like you kind of you took good stuff from it and you left behind the stuff that didn't work for you.
Yeah, and I met so many people who are like just the coolest people who are like pro social justice, pro feeding the hungry, pro loving everyone, you know, and nothing like the, you know, sort of the mainstream view of what Christians are, which is really Christian nationalism or whatever,
right?
You know, or white nationalism, really. And these are not that. These are like crunchy, funky, kind, warm, compassionate human beings.
Yes.
Who you know, believe in a higher power. I mean, like, I don't make fun of people who believe in astrology. So why am I going to make fun of the problem?
God, that
is
is such an Aries thing to say.
Well, that's weird because I'm not. I'm a Sagittarius.
Dang it! I had a 1 in 12 chance. Actually, I don't know how many signs there are.
You read my book. You know I'm a December birthday.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I sure do, because we are both right now, as we record this, 49 years old.
Oh, and when are you?
May.
Okay.
So you've got a couple. They'll be just. We're gonna go out of sync for like a few months, but don't worry, I'll be right back with you at Big 50. How are you feeling about that, by the way?
Oh, I mean, I have to tell you, compared to what happened, what I was feeling when I turned 40.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, big decade for.
It was a big decade
for Jeff Hiller.
Really, it was just a big like last 2 or 3 years, because the first part of the 40s were pretty. I'd say average to below average.
So I mean, that's going into 50, but having had the last few years that you've had with everything, with the TV show and the book and the Emmy, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's got to put some wind in your sails.
Yeah, it does, and it also, I think when I turned 40, I was like, oh well, it passed and it didn't happen, so it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I have to pack it in and not live anymore because I didn't catch the train at 35, and now I realize that's dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, the book is so interesting to me because it's not really the story. I don't want to give too much away, but there's
I think you're fine.
The point is, like, it's not like, I sort of thought, oh, I bet you that somebody somewhere was the last helicopter out of Saigon for you. It's that or nothing. And then you write in the book, you're like, it might have felt that way, but also you weren't going to quit acting. You would have been. No. It's too fundamental to who you are.
Yeah.
And so you would have kept going for things, and still you'd be doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so great to have had something that people really connected to win an award. It's amazing, but it's not. That can't be the reason why you do it, because
that's easy to say now.
That's so
now that
true.
You have it.
Well, yeah, but in a way, it's like I didn't need it because I kept going even without that for so long.
Yeah.
Without, people are like, sometimes other people will be like, but you worked a lot, and I would work like 2 or 3 days a year, and then I would teach improv and hope I'd get a commercial or something like that. But it wasn't really. And that fed me. I did improv for free, and that fed me. I did stand up, and I would make $15 a show, and that fed me. I mean, it didn't feed me like it paid for my food.
Emotionally, it fed you.
It fed my artistic soul.
Yeah. And you had a podcast.
I did. I did. And that's why I feel like I always have to say yes to anyone who asks me to be on a podcast.
I know this is probably triggering for you now that you're like, wait, I have an Emmy, and now I'm in this restaurant talking to a guy who's recording it on his laptop.
Oh, listen, this is not even close to the worst podcast I've been on. Not even close.
What's the
I had to stop. Like, sometimes people just ask me to be on their podcast, like, over social media, and I had to stop because I've gotten so burned.
Oh, no.
By just, like, people who can't, who are just not ready to be a host.
Sure. Right. Like, their sort of, their reach exceeds their grasp as far as what they are hoping to do versus what they're able to actually do in the conversation and things like that.
Yeah.
I
just don't have time. It's like,
well, yeah,
it takes up a lot of time.
Well, and again, I don't want to keep like sort of going back to this, but it's like you have to be very, very busy these days with, I mean, you're promoting the book, you're shooting a lot of stuff now. I'm sure that your agents are burning the candle at both ends. Like, it's got to be a huge thing to have like all the stuff come with the show and the Emmy and everything, right?
Yes. I mean, my manager, when I got nominated, which was like a huge shock. No one had predicted it. It was not. When I say I was surprised, I mean I was genuinely surprised. Like, I had to do all these interviews with awards experts who would be like, "How did this happen?"
Oh, no.
I mean, no one thought that would happen. And he was like, he cried when I got nominated, and then he was like, "Being nominated is enough. It is enough. You have already won. Just the fact that you're in this tier, it's so huge." And then when I won, he was like, "Yes! And then so much more." And I was like, I thought being nominated was enough.
So he had a lot of faith in you,
yeah,
obviously.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, you must be super duper busy now. So thank you for, slumming and doing this podcast. I do want to talk about
I'm just in Portland today. I'm not doing.
I want to talk about your podcast that you did have, which was called Touche.
Yes.
But you wanted it to be called, and we can say this because this is on the internet.
Okay.
It was supposed to be called. Well, can you set up a little bit of what it was a reference to? Because first set it up, and then I want to ask if, as a cis straight man, if it is appropriation for me to use this, because I love this term.
Well, I don't know if I'm the person that can condone whether or not you can use it, but so our show was about mid-career actors who still have to have day jobs, and you're over 40, and you still want to be an actor, but it has really great, like, you have a lot of like zeal and zest when you're in your 20s, and even in your 30s you're like yes, but somehow once you cross 40 it's like, oh my God, this is exhausting. And my friends all have washers and dryers and dining rooms, and I live in a tiny apartment, And so we made a show about that, and we thought themically, I've learned the word thematically is not.
No,
themic is not a word. Thematically is.
Okay,
A word.
I was just doing a lot of retrospective, feeling bad.
So there's a term that dancers use on Broadway after a day when they've had a matinee and a night performance, and it's like a term that just means like I'm worn out, it's rough, I'm feeling hot.
I want to say to the listeners, if you are in the car with kids, which is about 80% of our demo, they're about to learn. They're about to learn something.
All right, sorry kids, I'm gonna rocket you into a new world, but they call it two-show
which is just things are not fragrant down there because of the physical exertion.
Because all the sweating from kicking your face for 2 full shows.
But you said also there are, male dancers, male performers that will also use this in the theater.
Yes, it's primarily used by gay men.
Well, that's what I was asking you to be a bridge between the women who say it, the gay men who say it, and the guys like me who have no business saying it. I wanted to get my.
I don't know. It's like
maybe we've had enough.
It's like you can call certain people certain things, as long as you can tell from the tone of if it's meant.
Yes.
Joyfully. Maybe just don't do it.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, this is something that because the usual co-host of the show is another like straight white male, and we've been doing the show for a long time, and we've done it through a lot of different, kind of.
Right, for 17 years, you can't do it both every day.
Oh yeah, well, 5 days a week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, but we take the Sabbath off. Unless my ox falls into a ditch, and then I am allowed to pull it out. I don't know how into Sabbath law y'all got there at the Lutheran school, but
all I know is Jesus said, "It's Sabbath is for you, not you for the Sabbath."
There you go. But we've, and it's been a journey to just try to figure out how to talk about things, and also the kind of language that we use, and the kind of the way we and what we always come back to is like, if there's something that we were saying or that we used to say and it made someone feel not great. It's
right.
like, how important is it to us to say this?
I know.
To like, what hill do I want to die on the hill of saying some term that like, I don't mean it to bum someone out, but it is, and there's a bunch of other terms that I could use.
It's that knee-jerk defense mechanism where you're like, I was doing that, so I know I'm going to just double down and make it even worse. When you could just be like, oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I'll pick something else.
Yeah.
One show.
Yeah.
Something dignified.
The one that I am really having a hard time is I always say that's so crazy, and someone said that they don't really like that.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to say that's so wild.
Oh yeah. That's a good fix.
But I do have a problem continually going back to it, which I feel, because I'm with you. I'm like, well, I don't need to say that. But it does take a little practice.
Wild sounds actually more fun if you can retrain your brain to say it. I mean, that's also, it's nice when you can slide something else in that is not bumming someone out and is fun to say.
Exactly.
We got really hung up on something that started out, I'm not strictly a vegetarian, but I'm kind of mostly don't eat a lot of meat. I have this thing that I kind of call intrusive animal empathy. If I start thinking about like an animal being cold, just like I'll just be in bed and I'll be like, oh my God, there's a cow somewhere that is so cold. It just like could ruin my night. So
That's beautiful.
PETA's whole thing. Thank you. I don't like to throw the word hero around, but like PETA put out this list one time of things that they wanted people to start saying instead of like, I don't know if you'd call them idioms or little statement, like little things that we have all said for our whole life. That are kind of, you actually take them apart, you go, look, that's kind of mean to an animal.
Right.
Now, we started saying these things because we thought they were obviously ridiculous.
Right.
But now we can't even say the old thing because we're stuck on the ridiculous ones, such as that you're not supposed to say beat a dead horse. You're supposed to say feed a fed horse.
I like it.
Or you're not supposed to say, I don't have a dog in this
race?
in this fight.
Oh, in this
I don't have a
fight.
dog in this fight. Which also, I don't know how many people were saying that, but now we started to say, I don't have a dog on this flight, which I think somehow morphed into, I don't have a Doug on this flight. And you're not supposed to say, this is the best one. You're not supposed to say, kill two birds with one stone.
Oh.
You're supposed to say, I don't mean to feed two birds with one scone. Which is so much more fun to say.
Yeah, but I don't think it has the same. It doesn't sound the same to me. It sounds the opposite to me.
Well, yeah. I guess if you think of killing two birds with one stone as like I'm getting two things done.
Uh-huh. Oh, I see.
Maybe but you're
I'm
right.
feeding two birds with only one
scone. But I will tell you that a word of warning. It is a real conversation stopper. Whereas you might say, hey, well, let's just kill two birds with one stone. We'll do the thing while we're on the other thing. If you say, hey, let's just feed two birds with one scone, whoever you're talking to is like, are you having an aphasia? Was your podcast, did you get traction? I mean, you're such a delight. I would have to imagine that people liked the show.
It was just so niche, and it was kind of, I mean, I know everyone says that everyone has a podcast now, but really, even in 2017, everybody had a podcast already.
Yeah.
And so
there's a lot of noise out there.
Yeah, I think like the people who listened to us were actors over 40. And that was kind of it.
Would you ever, would you ever do another podcast now that Spotify would probably pay you a bunch of dough. Is that even a conversation that your management ever comes to you? Like, okay, because your celebrity level is here now and there's some money in that?
Yeah, well, apparently there's not any money in podcasting.
Tell me about it. Look where we are. This is humiliating.
I did have a company come to me, but I want to make it something that I'm interested in doing every week. I don't want to do something where I'm like, ugh, I have to go record this dumb podcast. I want it to be something that like feeds me too, because if I'm not going to get rich from it, exactly. If I'm not going to get rich from it, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing something that I don't love.
Well, my unsolicited advice to you as an Emmy Award winner who had their own podcast already.
Yeah.
Definitely don't let them ever try to, and I don't think you would, talk you into some sort of generalist. It's like it's going to be about movies, or it's going to be, I feel like,
oh yeah,
I always call this narrow casting. I'm a big fan of, and also, honestly, I'm incapable of broadcasting. It's always pretty narrow, but that's so much more fun in my experience. Like, I just like talking about the stuff that I want to talk about. And whenever you're meeting with executives or like people that don't host podcasts or shows, they're always just like, they want it to be all things to all people.
Right.
And I always just think it's so much better. I mean, that I think kind of really, well, I was going to say.
Wait, are you saying I should narrowcast?
Yes, you should narrowcast.
Yes, right. So I should be like, I want to talk about movies that are horror movies from the 80s or something like that.
Directed by one director. I want you to get down to like the most.
My Wes Craven podcast.
Thank you. That's probably already done. It's got to be more obscure than that.
It's got to be more obscure.
I was going to say though that like in a way that brings me back to Somebody Somewhere. Except one of the things about the show that I have found so incredible is that like I have recommended it to such a wide range of people. My evangelical parents who loved it.
You're kidding.
They binged it. I was going somewhere for work. They were staying at my house because I think they're trying to get squatters' rights. It's a whole thing. They are at my house constantly. My mom will hear this, by the way, because she also listens to the show. The other day I complained that every time my parents come over, they move everything in my house by 1 inch. It's like a psychological torture. And then I was talking to them on the phone today, and my mom goes, well, I promise we won't move everything by 1 inch when we come over. I was like, you were listening an hour and a half into the show?
I want her to now purposely move everything an inch.
She will if she doesn't forget that I said that. That's another thing. She's a real, her memory regenerates itself every single day. It's like a whole new day to her or something. But they loved Somebody Somewhere. I was going out of town. They were staying at my house, and I'm always trying to put them onto a good show. And so they started watching it. And again, it's like, I just love the characters so much, and I love the pace of the show. I love everything about it. But I didn't know if it'd work for them. They're in their 70s. They don't watch a lot of like good comedy. Honestly, like it's my mom. The main thing she watches is like season 4 of King of Queens on VHS, and it's because my uncle Chuck gave it to her, and this. As he gave her, he goes, I know it's not the best season, but it was on sale. So, and then I go on my trip, and I'm expecting them to be like, but there was a lot of gayness on that show or something. I don't know if they were just like, they had watched the entire thing in like 1.5 days.
Wow.
And I feel like that's I have recommended the show to a lot of people, and I wasn't sure if they were going to love it or not, and they love it. I feel like the show, even though it is a very specific voice, I feel like maybe it's just people.
They don't mind like the diarrhea and the pooping and the drinking and the.
I've cured them of that whole squeamishness by once shitting my pants at a Seattle Mariners game when I was like 12.
Way to do God's work.
I know. I'm an ally. But anyway, I guess I'm just wondering, like, what's your experience been with the kind of people who really lock into the show? And have you been surprised, I guess, by any of the fan bases, or like just by people who come up to you and maybe it's like somebody you're like, oh, I wouldn't have pegged you for like a somebody somewhere?
I mean, it's usually women between 40 and 60, usually lesbian or pansexual or something.
That come up to you.
Yes.
But there could be. Did I tell you? You know, I did a TV thing with Bridget.
No.
Yeah. I have this other job. I work for CBS, and where they're dimming the lights in
they
here.
really are.
Honestly, things are getting sexy, and I'm not against it. So yeah, I have a TV job for CBS, and I did a profile of Bridget. So we went to Joe's Pub, and we went to Manhattan, Kansas together.
Oh wow!
And it was wild because we were just standing out in front of some of the locations, you know, and like the theater where you guys, you know, screened the final episode and stuff.
Yeah.
And there were so many people. Well, there was at least 3 groups of people that had just come through Manhattan, Kansas because of the show.
Yeah.
People on road trips, like, you know, like one gal with a real "can I talk to a manager" kind of haircut, and her husband, and they were from North Carolina.
Oh.
And Bridget and I are standing and talking, and these people are walking down the street, and then they just stop. And then we finish up our thing, and they come over, and they're like, the woman is crying, and the husband is geeking out harder than the woman, and they are losing it. Can you imagine?
It would be shocking.
You drive to Manhattan, Kansas on a Tuesday?
And they're like, there's Sam.
Sam just stands in front of this theater all day. Like, she's just, and then everywhere we went, because we went in the bar where there's like a cutout of her.
Right.
Another lady comes in and loses her mind. Like, people could, I mean, can you imagine Sam and Joel walking around Manhattan, Kansas on a random day? You should do that.
During the finale, it was Sam and Joel and Trisha and Fred Rococo.
Oh my God!
And
I saw a
Brad.
picture. My friend went to the town. There was a picture of you guys in the breakfast joint.
Yeah, the chef.
In the chef, and I think my friend surreptitiously just took a picture of you guys having breakfast in there, like out of the show.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, and we met people who like have moved there. Like there's a couple who moved there to start like basically a Tender Moments, like the shop that Trisha runs.
Yes.
But with like kind of bawdier and naughtier things that some reference the show, but some are just like cool things. I know, it's really wild.
Yeah.
But I
see
most.
Good job.
Thank you. I did that kind of just naturally. But I did. Most people I meet who are young say like, my mom loves your show.
I find maybe I'm also no spring chicken, I guess. It's weird, isn't it? I'm like, but a young person like me watches it. A young person who's about to be 50. Like, I've got to be, I'm, you know, a hip, cool youth like myself. Yeah, I mean, maybe what it is like, if whatever someone's age or background is, if they have like empathy, maybe, you know, like if there's whatever that thing that runs through a person that has sort of a, by the way, my parents are the only evangelicals I know that are not Trump people.
Wow.
All their friends are, and it's really a bummer for them.
Yeah.
And their whole thing, to bring it back to the Christianity, is they're like, have you heard of Jesus' whole deal?
Right.
Like,
it's love, 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 love.
It was the number one thing this guy was about. And like how it could get twisted into what it's been twisted into by certain people. Like, it really, it shocks them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's put them totally on the outs with all of their friend group, which is a bummer, although lucky for us, because, you know, that can be really tough in families when that goes on. But anyway, yeah. So.
And are all your siblings are
MAGA?
They are?
No, none of them. No, they're like, no, it's my parents, to their credit, raised very progressive kids, you know, kids who did not feel like we had to live any certain way because of what their belief. I mean, that was tough for them.
Right.
There was a period, there's another part in the book where you're talking about how you, when you came out to like your sort of, you know, your I guess, college church friends, and maybe it was the commune.
Yeah.
And you wrote this kind of, you wrote a beautiful, like a really eloquent and beautiful thing to kind of just describe who you were and who you were not,
right,
etc. And I was reminded of the fact, so like I had a kid when I was 17.
Oh, wow.
I felt like it was time. You get to the listeners have heard that joke. How many times, listeners? 100,000 times? You've done the whole junior year.
So how old is your kid now?
31.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane. But I was at church youth group leading the worship thing, and nobody knew about this baby because I'd only come to this youth group 6 months previously when my daughter was in utero. And so, and I didn't want to be like the weird about to be teen dad at the new youth group.
Right.
So I just didn't really bring it up. But then my daughter was born, and then I knew it was going to be like, it was pretty hard to hide it after that.
Right.
And it just so happened we had like a church, like a youth group camp out thing. And I stopped, after, probably Awesome Is Our God or something. And was like, I need to tell you all something. I became a father 3 days ago.
Wow.
It was a real record scratch moment.
Again, how did they react? I mean, like,
there was a girl that I had a crush on and who had a crush on me, and all her friends looked at her like, "Did you know, Jeanette? Did you know?" I had told her.
Oh, you had?
I had. I was trying to. I didn't want that to be how she figured it out. Right. But nobody there said, like, whereas a lot of your friends, it sounds like, said, "Oh yeah, we had an inkling."
Right. Yeah, well, it's a little different to have an inkling of.
That would have been weird.
Yeah.
Like we figured you were a fan of unprotected sex in a Dodge Dakota. We all kind of saw it coming.
Were you still with the mom?
No, we went to like the junior prom. And it's we came from this school, this very evangelical school and it was a small school. I think the whole high school was maybe 150 kids or something. But it was one of those places where the sort of the advice around sex before marriage was don't do it. Right. And so everyone did it.
Right.
And everybody got pregnant. There was like probably like a 60% pregnancy rate of either like somebody in the school getting pregnant or somebody in the school getting someone who went to a different school pregnant. It was I mean the fertility amongst a bunch of Christian 17-year-olds is, I don't think that Christianity matters. I think 17-year-olds. We're not supposed to be here a lot after 30, I think, is part of the problem. Like biology, evolution.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like we're still mostly, it hasn't been that long since we died at 35. And nature was like, you better start making a baby at 16.
Right.
We're primed for it now,
Yeah.
So
it's true. And all those hormones and stuff, they're like, do it.
Yeah, and then meanwhile now I'm friends with so many people who are later in life and want to have kids. That's more the generation, or more what happened to all my friends who didn't go to Christian school.
Right.
They all got jobs. They waited, and now they have to get the greatest minds of science together to try to get a baby going.
But that's how it is with like weddings too. Like I had this huge thing of weddings in my 20s from all of my Christian college friends.
Yeah.
And then in my 30s, I had all this huge wave of weddings from just my New York City friends.
Yeah.
And then in my 40s, I had a wave of the second weddings of the Christians.
Oh, wow. That's, I'm trying to remember how many, I've been married twice, divorced twice, not to brag. My family, I'm trying to think of how many people, the second wedding I had was very small.
Right.
I think a little bit because of that.
Right.
Because I definitely felt bad asking the same people to come and buy me another toaster. I was like, one was enough for all of you.
Right.
How about your wedding?
Well, we didn't invite anybody. We just went to the courthouse.
Yeah, Brooklyn or 1 Center Street in like Southern Manhattan.
Yeah.
I used to work in that building when I worked for WNYC.
Oh, really?
Before they had their fancy new studios.
Yeah, over on
the
West Side. Yeah.
They used to be in that building, 1 Center Street. Well, first of all, I was starstruck because next to it was the courthouse where Bill Curtis would walk down the stairs on like that one crime show that he always did. He'd get to the bottom stairs, but sometimes dead men do tell tales. But next to that was 1 Center Street, and so to go to work, I'd have to wait in line with all the people that were there to get married because you go through like the metal detector and stuff.
Right.
And it was a very kind of hopeful way to start every morning of work.
That's way better than like family court or something.
Yes, it was just a lot of people, that had paperwork and maybe some flowers. And
yeah, I still live downtown, and so I walk by, and you'll see people outside in like a white dress, but it's not like a full wedding dress.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's really sweet. All right, that's why I get married so much, because I'm just a fan of the whole thing. I love. Well, Jeff Hiller, I love your show, Somebody Somewhere. I love your book, Actors of a Certain Age. I love that you deigned to be on yet another podcast here, and that I'm going to interview you again in like an hour and a half, which is
what?
You won't even
that
recognize
is
me.
Wild.
It sure is. And you know what? It's not. It's not crazy.
I think you might be feeding a fed horse.
I know you're wishing that we could have fed two birds with one scone and just made this the interview for tonight. But everybody is so excited to see you over at the theater, so we'll have to do that one as well. But listen, thank you for being on TBTL. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
All right, a big thanks to Jeff Hiller for taking the time to talk to us here on TBTL. And, this music could only mean one thing. I still haven't gotten the proper donor music from Andrew, but that's okay, because these are donors getting more done. Donors like... I'm not going to read everybody's name that way. That would be weird. Wonderful, generous supporters like Lisa Davenport in Cathedral City, California. Thank you, Lisa, for... By the way, I was trying to, as we were setting up the audio equipment, and I was making small talk with Jeff, I was trying to tell him what he was going to be on, like what this thing is, this TBTL thing. And he, like most people, was, I think, pleasantly confused about this happening for 17 years, which it has, thanks to the donations of folks like Lisa and also Christopher Shade out there in Barrington, Illinois. Thanks, Christopher. Thanks also Meg Curtis of Melrose, Massachusetts. And Marion Benner of Maple Valley, Washington. William Gallion checking in from Kenmore, Washington. Look at that, Maple Valley, Kenmore, Washington. And then, of course, West Caldwell, New Jersey, which is where Josh Laster is. I'm feeling very butch with this music. I guess it kind of makes sense considering what they're going for. Thank you so much to all of our donors today for voluntarily supporting this thing. There are some fun days. There are days when we get to talk to Jeff Hiller and use equipment that we bought out of the budget from TBTL. Like, honestly, I was using this recording device called a MixPre, using these microphones, which granted they didn't match, but they worked, kind of. And that's all out of the budget that we have to do this, and I could do it for my job because of our donors. So thank you so much for making TBTL possible. Hey, speaking of the TBTL supporters and just the 10s in general, I got a message from our friend Melly out there in New York saying that the TBTL card exchange is live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. That's right. If you're somebody who in years past has been participating in the TBTL card exchange, it's happening again. There's a link. I'm guessing that the link is up at like the Stens page and maybe over on Slack or other such places where these things happen. But yeah, if you are part of the card exchange traditionally, it's happening again. If you've never taken part, this is basically a thing where you get to send a card to a 10, like a holiday card or a greeting card or whatever, and then you'll get one from someone else. It's kind of like a cool pen pal program involving cards, and it is so much fun, and people love it so much. Thanks, Melly, for setting that up again. We appreciate it. All right, we've got one more super butch stanza of music for me to thank you for listening to today's TBTL. Andrew will be back tomorrow, so join us for that. In the meantime, have a great Tuesday, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and please remember, no mountain too tall, and good luck to all.
Power out.